for joining us on this edition of National Focus. I'm Jarna Hector. Coming up, Senator Tammy Jean Jacques responds to the 2014-2015 national budget. A medical mission is scheduled for Dominica this week, and we'll bring you more constituency reports from the House of Parliament. Stay tuned for details of these and other stories after this.
If you can believe this,
come by my house and let me show you some movies.
why can't you believe this? Some mothers don't believe their own children when they say they've been sexually abused, and they don't report it. Remember, if anyone asks to see or touch their private parts, touches them inappropriately, shows them or forces them to touch one's private parts, has sex with them, shows them pornographic material, or deliberately lets them hear or see the act of sex, then it is sexual abuse. Believe your child and report the sexual abuse. For more information about child abuse, contact these agencies. This message brought to you by UNICEF and this station.
Thank you for staying with us. Constituency representative for the Montjon Rivière-Siri constituency, Honorable Ivor Stevenson, is proud of the extent of work that has been done in the area within the past 4 years. Honorable Stevenson was addressing the House of Parliament on Monday, where he listed the major jobs completed, first in Montjon.
In Montjon, for example, Madam Speaker, we saw the rehabilitation of the Montjon Primary School. Presently ongoing, Madam Speaker, in Montjon, we have again the rehabilitation of a section of the Montjon Main Road that takes us from the Four Corners to the playing field. An amount of $100,000 is now being spent to rehab this road project. Very recently in Montjon, Madam Speaker, again, we saw that upgrade of the playing field where we spent some $25,000. And a number of our persons, residents in Montjon, continue, Madam Speaker, to benefit from a housing program.
The constituency representative says residents of Rivière-Siri have witnessed the completion of several projects in that area.
We saw in the Siam area road rehabilitation. A section of the road from the Toos area to the health center was rehabilitated at a cost of $78,000, and BNTF funds were made available to the tune of $152,247 for the continued rehabilitation of that section of road, taking us to the playing field. In Montfregard, in the Dam Road area, Madam Speaker, presently $41,345 is now being spent for improving the access into that section of the village. What we see happening, Madam Speaker, in that area is the construction of footpaths, steps, to make it much easier for the persons who travel to that area. Again, in sections of the Montfregard Main Road, we saw areas that were rehabilitated to the tune of $34,000. And in the Mouchepier area, we're talking about farm access improvements, $200,000 spent over the last financial year.
Also in Rivière-Siri, the government has improved the existing water supply to service more consumers, and 35 streetlights were erected for the safety and security of commuters. More from the Grand 4 MP's presentation in Wednesday's newscast. Minister for Fisheries, Honorable Dr. Kenneth Daru, says despite a few challenges, there has been a relatively stable record of fish landings in fishing communities across the island. Honorable Daru made the remark during his address to Parliament on Monday.
For the year under review, we experienced a relatively stable record of fish landings, which also reflects a slight reduction in production as compared to the last year. We think that this is attributed to a reduction in the number of what they call FADs, fish aggregating devices, in operation, as well as a change in ocean current and the emerging issues of climate change, which of course triggers effects of migration and mating habits of our pelagics, both coastal and ocean pelagics.
The Honorable Minister also noted that training has been provided to fishermen to promote fishing as a sustainable career.
And the Fisheries Division continue to train our fishermen And as I say all the time, no longer is fisheries regarded as a from sea to port or from sea to the rum shop type of activity. Fisheries can now be regarded as a career, and then we have trained, or we try to educate our fishermen into seeing the fisheries activities as a career, one where they can earn an income, build their homes, buy their vehicles, send their children to school, etc. And the fisheries division, had been doing a wonderful job so far. Through our BFTC, what we call our Basic Fisherman Training course. The course is designed to prepare the fishermen for the challenge in running a successful fishing business, and to engage them in responsible fishing, best practices, sustainable fishing, in order to ensure that there is fishery stock available for future generations.
According to the minister, collaborations between Dominica and other countries have also contributed to significant developments in the fisheries sector.
The contribution of the Japanese government through JICA, that's the Japanese International Cooperation Agency, have made, especially in the area of technical expertise to our fishermen. Yes, we've seen the results of fisheries facilities, the complex, the most recent one being in Portsmouth, Mr. Douglas. And we see these things, okay, but there's a lot going on, Mr. Speaker, that the Japanese are involved in that we do not see. And I'm talking about the expertise that they lend to our fisher folks and our people in providing this type of exercises.
GIS News will bring you more on this report in a subsequent newscast. Dominica Labour Party's Senator Tammy Jean Jacques has pledged her full support to the 2014-2015 national budget. JeanJacques told Parliament last week that budget discussions are serious business.
In this Parliament, we debate and discuss serious business. And so this is why I'm here today, to show them how it is done. Madam Speaker, what we witnessed yesterday by our Honorable Prime Minister in terms of his presentation of the national budget was no child's play, but a presentation of a working document with real solutions aimed and directed at moving our country forward amidst the global economic recession and crisis, and towards expansion of the economy as articulated in this year's theme.
The Honourable Senator is confident that the 2014-2015 budget addresses every sector of the Dominican economy in a realistic way. She commended the Dominica Labour Party administration for what she considers a budget that touches all nationals.
It would be remiss of me if first I were not to compliment the Honourable Prime Minister and Minister for Finance for not only his presentation of a budget, but, Madam Speaker, for the content and character and essence and substance of what was in the budget, in keeping with this year's theme towards expansion of the economy. This budget speaks to delivery. Delivery in every sector, delivery in every aspect of the economy. Delivery to touch the lives of the people of this country in a meaningful and realistic way, Madam Speaker. Delivery by a government that was put here to work and which continues to work. Madam Speaker, this budget speaks of delivery at a time when we're faced with a global economic crisis. And Madam Speaker, it presents a sustainable way out for every Dominican, both those here and those living abroad.
JeanJacques has served in the House of Assembly since 2010, appointed senator by the Honorable Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit, and was sworn in on February 3, 2010. In other news, despite the challenges facing the agriculture sector for well over a decade, the Ministry of Agriculture has done well under the Labour Party administration to help the sector regain its prestige. This is according to the Honourable Minister for Agriculture, Matthew Walter, who was addressing the House of Parliament on Friday. The minister said that based on the Honourable Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit's budget report, it is obvious that government has been taking agriculture to the next level.
Madam Speaker, if I read to you the 2014 an aspect of the 2014-2015, Madam Speaker, budget address of the Prime Minister, Madam Speaker, to substantiate and to justify that this government is doing well in agriculture, notwithstanding what the critics have said. On page 7 of the budget address, the horticulture program introduced by government has been very successful and has been largely responsible for the growth in the agricultural sector in the past 5 years. The non-banana crop sector is estimated to have grown by 6.4% and 13% in 2011 and 2012 respectively.
According to the Honorable Minister, his ministry has also done work in reinstating faith in and lending support to old, new and prospective farmers.
We held the first agri-forest festival in Dominica, Madam Speaker. And Madam Speaker, the objective of the festival was to restore confidence in the farmers, to educate the farmers with respect to what needs to be done to make farming for them an enjoyable profession, an enjoyable occupation, and a profitable one. To stimulate the youth so that to participate actively in agriculture, so that they will be in the future to replace the farmers who are expiring, Madam Speaker, and retiring in the agricultural sector, Madam Speaker.
The Ministry of Agriculture has been allocated $9.9 million in the 2014-2015 national budget. And before we end this evening's news, an announcement from the establishment's Personnel and Training Department. Information expos will take the spotlight as Public Service Day events continue. The expos will create the opportunity for patrons to gather important information on the services offered by government through demonstration and explanation of the use of ICT for greater efficiency and effectiveness in service delivery. Information sessions will be held on the last Friday of every month from July to November 2014. And that's the English news. McPherson St. Luce is next with the Creole highlights.
Allô tout le monde, bienvenue à ces nouvelles en créole. Moi, c'est McPherson St. Luce. Premièrement, travail pour une place bien formidable à l'occasion sport Mon Jaune et puis Grand Fond. Parole celle-là sortie au même parlement, honorable Ivor Stevenson.
Plein fil là, oui, nous faisons un petit travail dans plein fil Mon Jaune. Nous platis, nous grandis. Et puis, plein de fleurs bien bon. Tout jeune monde, mon John Kaheli actuellement, il a dit, première fois, il y a plein de fleurs, mais on a connu ça pour longtemps. Puis, même instant, en plein de fil, grand fond, nous avons dans final stage, plein de fil, grand fond. Nous simons, Gwen Zeb, c'est Zeb là qui arrive bien, et puis, plein de fil là bien bon. Tout le monde qui regarde plein de fil là, actuellement, il a dit, actuellement, il y a un bon plein de fil. Ça qui fait la vie jeune monde, mais dans grand fond, et puis, mon John.
À la nouvelle, Conseil culturel Dominique reconnaît les gens qui ont fait une contribution en aspect culture pendant la cérémonie Golden Drum Award l'année 2014. Les gens qui ont reçu le Golden Drum Award, c'est Henry Alexander pour préservation art traditionnel, Leroy Wadix Charles pour la gage créole, Lauren Joseph pour théâtre et puis Raymond Lawrence pour développement culture. Imelda Aaron, Ras Algi, Leslas Amo Shillingford, Peter Litton et puis Petros Miaza, qui a pris une recognition Special Award, ça a créé Award spécial. Cérémonie là qui prend place en Caille Culture Avawak mercredi, qui a commencé à 8h au soir, en bas patronage président Excellency Charles Savren et Madame Savren. Plusieurs d'autres artistes qui assistent pendant la cérémonie. Et puis finalement, projet Batikaï qui prend place en Kalinago bénéficie aux résidents. mostly Frederick, résident Kalinago, bien plaisir pour assistance et recevoir.
Le galvanage là, j'ai coupé. La molka dormi en le carbone. Ils n'ont pas le carbone là. C'est un grand plastique pour tenir. Les voilà applications, mais ben pour un plastique là au fond, les bons pour le bâtiment. C'est pas pièce le seul nature est beau.
Dis-moi quand le net là fait bas, comment on va apprécier?
Eh ben, quand le gouvernement fait bas moyen, mon cas oui merci le gouvernement pour qu'il a fait bas moyen. Merci autant. Bon Dieu qui béni, bon Dieu que vos chemins veillent en toute occasion. C'est bon qui travaille quand il a bas moyen. Merci yo aussi. Merci autant. Bon Dieu qui bénit yo, bon Dieu qui garde en toute misère, toute occasion. Mon cas, oui, merci gouvernement, oui, merci ici, bon, qui travaille là-bas.
Messieurs, mesdames, ça c'est tout pour nouvelle. En créole pour à présent. Non, moi, c'est McPherson Luce. Au revoir.
Is eating just before bed harmless? Find out next.
Did you know the Caribbean Court of Justice is two courts in one? The CCJ has two functions: an original jurisdiction, which deals with your right to move between CARICOM countries freely and your right to move your money and your business. This is the basis of the CARICOM Single Market and Economy, CSME, and the revised Treaty of Chaguaramas, and an appellate jurisdiction to hear appeals from courts of those countries which decide to use it as their final court of appeal and no longer go to the Privy Council. All CARICOM member states who have signed the agreement establishing the CCJ are members of the CCJ.
It is a dietary myth that food eaten just prior to bedtime turns into fat. Weight management comes down to calories consumed versus calories expended. When you consume more calories than you burn, you're likely to gain weight. Conversely, if you burn more calories through exercise and regular physical activity than you consume, you're likely to lose weight. Keep in mind, however, that consuming enough calories to meet nutritional needs is important, and cutting calories too severely can actually slow down your metabolism. And that's all for this edition of National Focus. We always welcome your suggestions and comments. Drop us an email at gis@dominica.gov.dm or visit our website news.gov.dm. Like our Facebook page at facebook.com/GISNewsDominica. You can also catch up on past National Focus newscasts on our GIS Dominica YouTube channel. On behalf of the GIS News Production team, I'm Jarna Hector. Thanks for watching and join us again next time on National Focus.